We're approaching the January transfer window once more here in Season 3 of our realistic Crystal Palace career mode. And whilst we were only able to spend a total of £28 million in the summer, the consequence we suffered for failing our Premier League objective only extended to the summer transfer window. And that means we're able to spend upwards of £10 million on players once again when the January window opens. Of course, that does depend on having a budget to work with. So we're dropped by Steve Parish's office to see how much money will be available in January. We spent 28 million in the summer, but we sold Czech Decore for 25. And if we really want to capitalize on the positive start that we've had to this season, then I think we could really benefit from adding one first-team player to the squad. And Steve Parish agrees that we've had a strong start to the season, but he authorizes a budget of only 15 to 20 million for January. And that's not really what I wanted to hear. I was hoping we'd be able to pick up somebody like a Nicolo Fagioli, like a Yassine Adli, a versatile defensive midfielder. But those kind of players are going to set us back far more than 15 to 20 million. Eddie Nketiah has been playing for his Crystal Palace career over the last couple of months, but with the additions of Lucas Stassin and Emmanuel Dennis in the summer, it's possible that we could sell Nketiah in January, which could potentially free up about another £10 million if Steve Parish allows us to spend that as well. And Steve Parish says that if we do sell any players in January, he'd be open to reinvesting at least a significant portion of the proceeds back into the squad. So I make that about 25 million, which may be enough to bring in somebody like a Fagioli or an Adli. If not, we're going to have to pivot. Somebody like a Tyler Adams potentially, and Dayashimi would be a useful addition as well. And if not, maybe somebody like Hayden Hackney, Flynn Downs from the lower leagues here in England. However, I'd also be interested to see what kind of players Dougie Freedman would recommend. We're looking to utilize a 4-3-3 at times this season with a true CDM. So whoever we sign needs to have those strong defensive capabilities. However, in this formation, I'd also like them to drop between the two centre backs. So good dribbling, good passing, good mobility is also important. However, we are also going to be playing a 4-2-3-1, a 4-2-4, a 5-2-3 at times this season. So we do want that player to be able to step up into a true centre midfield role as well. Dougie Freedman has suggested some possible options at the top of the budget range. Ibrahim Bamba, Edson Alvarez, and Ismail Benacer from AC Milan, in addition to Yassine Adli, all of whom I think would be excellent options. We got some mid-range options as well. João Palhinha, who is down at 28 years old here, but is going to be a little bit older in game. Yusuf Fofana from Monaco, and Tyler Adams, who we have seen has already been added to the shortlist, I think would be an ideal option in the mid-range. We've also got a handful of budget options. I'm not sure Romeo Lavia or Martin Zubamendi really fit the bill in that regard, but Askasiba and Bellegarde of Wolves certainly do. Today's video is sponsored by Enigma Football, the UK's leading supplier of football shirt mystery boxes just like this one. Enigma stock a wide range of football shirts from clubs from the Big Five European leagues, from lesser known teams around the world, and even from national teams as well. And you can be 100% certain that their shirts are authentic because they get them straight from the clubs and the manufacturers directly. Their mystery boxes start at just $34.99, and they can be as random or as customized as you like. Of course, you need to specify your shirt size, but you can also let Enigma know if there are any teams or leagues you would like to avoid, if there are any colors or designs that you would prefer, or you can just leave it entirely up to Enigma to choose for you. Enigma had a very good idea of what team I would like to receive, so they sent me this season's Crystal Palace shirt. This exact shirt on the Crystal Palace website would have cost me £60, but if you receive it in a mystery box, you get it almost half that price. And you can knock that price down even further by using code LAMSY at the checkout for a 10% discount on all first orders, including the first month of a mystery box subscription package. So if you're on the lookout for a Christmas gift for the diehard football fan in your life, or if you just want a fun and affordable way to expand your own shirt collection, check out Enigma Football. The link is in the description, and be sure to use code LAMSY at the checkout for 10% off your first order. Shout out to Enigma Football for sponsoring. Now let's get back to the video. So we said we would need to prioritize versatility as well as defensive ability, and that's even more so the case now that we are trying out yet another new formation. We're going with a 3-4-2-1 as we travel to the Vitality Stadium to take on Bournemouth in the first game of the episode. Chris Richards rejoins the 11 with Trevor Chalobah and Maxence Lequire either side of him. It's going to be Andreas Pereira and Adam Wharton in centre midfield today, with Kamada and Constantelius just ahead of them. Koleosho on the right-hand side, Leif Davis on the left, and Tammy Abraham up front leaves no space in the starting 11 for Daniel Munoz. I'll show you highlights of the Bournemouth game, but we'll be hosting Wolverhampton at Selhurst Park for our featured game of the episode before we round out a quiet month by quick simming our final fixture against Man City. And we saw the defensive vulnerabilities of the system almost immediately. Elia Wahi stealing a run on Chris Richards and heading home for an early Bournemouth opener. And whilst we enjoyed a lot of possession in the game, we struggled to create any really clear-cut opportunities. Thankfully though, Tammy Abraham was on hand to provide the equaliser after a really tidy, delicate chip from Matheus Françar found him opening the penalty area. Françar was an impactful substitute in one of those attacking midfield roles alongside Daichi Kamada, and this burst of pace almost allowed him to give us the lead late on. But Wahi too continued to provide problems for our defensive three. But thankfully, the ever-present Dean Henderson had another really good game and kept us in it in the second half. So a bit of a disappointing performance against a team we probably should be beating. The formation certainly showed some promise, but it's going to take some tweaking, some refining if it's really going to work out for us in the long run. But we will make those tweaks and refinements ahead of our featured game of the episode against Wolves. So without further ado, let's head over to Selhurst Park and see if we can come away with the 3 points that we arguably deserved in the last game.
Great game.
Thank you for attending Selhurst Park. Enjoy the match.
Judging by that Wolves 11, we should absolutely dominate this game. Outside of João Gomez, Matheus Cunha and Urian Timber, who's an interesting addition, they have absolutely nobody. One of the weakest 11s I've seen all series long, to be honest. Lamina, I guess, is not the worst player, but it's hardly somebody you should fear. Tammy Abraham finds Andreas Pereira. We have made a couple of changes to the formation and system heading into this game. So we are currently set up just with a flat back three. Everybody just set to defender. That is a rash challenge early. Lunging in the Wolves man. Completely takes out Leif Davis, and that's a great run from Luca Koleosho, who tries to pick out Tammy Abraham. Does. Looping header goes just past the post. And it is a yellow card for Castro early. Kamada wanted to see red. Was it Kamada who got wiped out? No, it was Leif Davis. So we do have a flat back three. We have Adam Wharton in centre midfield set to box. We have Andreas Pereira alongside him set to half winger. That is his preferred player role in centre midfield. But I think with the absence of Daniel Munoz on the right-hand side and Luca Koleosho set to winger attack, we do want somebody to kind of fill in that space at right back, essentially. So Andreas Pereira will... What are you doing, Dean Henderson? Andreas Pereira will take on that role. We have a couple of attacking midfielders in Daichi Kamada and Giannis Konstantelius ahead of those two. Kamada is set to roaming. Kamada is set to build up, which is why we've seen him drop into that little bit of space there. Konstantelius is set to roaming. Pereira, another chance to pick out Tammy Abraham. Doesn't win the header on this occasion. Neither does Konstantelius. And then finally we have Leif Davis on the left-hand side. He is set to wide midfielder balanced, I believe. We did have him on defend against Bournemouth, which did provide a bit more solidity down that left-hand side. But we certainly want him to be getting forward, because the reason he's in the side rather than Munoz is because of that left foot, because of that crossing ability. So we certainly need him to be getting forward, to be picking out Tammy Abraham, who is on target forward. Konstantelius. Davis on the far side. Kamada with the run in behind, but a little too overzealous. Ended up offside. Pretty sharpish. Chalobah finds Kamada. We are looking to control possession a lot more here against Wolves. I certainly don't anticipate being able to play this formation and this system against bigger clubs like Man City later in the episode. Unfortunate from Tammy Abraham there. Couldn't quite find Luca Coglioscio. But when we are playing weaker sides like this Wolves 11, the reason we'd be playing this formation is so that we can dominate possession. We did that against Bournemouth. It's just we weren't quite as clinical, incisive, cutthroat enough in possession when we did manage to get the ball in their half and even in their final third. Konstantelius. Coglioscio outside and once more. Coglioscio rather. Drive at the Wolves back line. Is that off? How is that a goal kick? There's no way the ball was out of play there. Konstantelius and Coglioscio linking up on the right-hand side today. They're used to playing opposite each other, but today they're going to be linking up down the one flank instead. Kamada wins the header, finds Leif Davis. Chance to put a cross in from there. Tammy Abraham not ideally positioned to receive it though. So we will just recycle through Lacroix and Adam Wharton. Nicely worked, but we couldn't quite find the run of Konstantelius. There's a lot more opportunities to play little quick passing combinations with this particular system. We are on short passing in terms of the build-up. So we'll be looking to play a bit more kind of tiki-taka style. But at the moment, it looks like in the final third at the very least, it is down the flanks that looks to be our main point of entry. Even if we are going to be trying to build up a little slower. No free kick there, ref, no? I mean, I guess maybe he got the ball. Seemed like a forceful challenge. One that could have been punished by a free kick, even if he did get the ball. Oh, Coglioscio beaten. Chalobah stepping up out of position now. Konstantelius back to help out. Thankfully, Cunha's shot comfortable for Dean Henderson to deal with. We are exposed at the back in this particular system. That's why I wanted Leif Davis on defend rather than on balanced. But as I said, we need that additional support down the left-hand side. And Leif Davis finds Tammy Abraham. That's exactly why we need Leif Davis on balanced. Because that's exactly what he can do with that left foot. Put it on a plate for Tammy Abraham. It's a really good save from Sam Johnston in the end. And then the rebound only finds the side netting. New sliders are up now, by the way. We are using the new slider set. We are on version 5, but that is for post-title update 6. The first Frost update, they are calling it. I don't recall EA ever, like, naming their title updates. Usually it's just title update 5, title update 6. But this one they've called the first Frost. I'm not aware of them ever having done something like that in the past. I don't hate it though. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I believe this is the first time. Unless I'm just not anywhere near observant enough. That's a really nice exchange between Konstantelius and Kolyosho. And Tammy Abraham, unfortunately, just crowded out at the end there. But those are exactly the kind of quick passing exchanges that this kind of a system facilitates. Well won by Pereira. Illegally won by Pereira, I guess, is the verdict, according to the referee. And that Man City match is looming. We could have played the Man City match in today's episode, but I anticipate we're going to be losing either way. I figure, why play the Man City game if we're going to lose in Quick Sim or lose in a featured game? So we may as well try and get as many points as we can from our first two fixtures, and then just allow Man City to have their way with us in the Quick Sim. Daichi Kamada, shot from range, blocked. It's going to fall for Kolyosho. Who's going to lift it in towards Tammy Abraham, who wins the header, buries it. Sam Johnston's made an absolute hash of it. Made an excellent save from Tammy Abraham earlier in the half. But he's made a complete hash of that one. Abraham just heading it down into the ground, and it bounces over the outstretched hands of Sam Johnston. It looked like beats Bueno in the air on this occasion. And it kind of bounces under his hands, if anything. He's not covered himself in glory there, the Wolves keeper, by any means. Jose Sarr, I believe, has left Wolves. I don't recall the club that he's joined. But Tammy Abraham, I believe, is 13th goal in the Premier League now, after that goal against Bournemouth. And then the opener here today continues to lead the Premier League goal-scoring charts. So he's on track for the Golden Boot. We set him the target of just matching his production from last season, which I thought would be a tall order, but it looks as though he's not only going to match it, but exceed it this season. He's certainly on pace to do that. Chris Richards forces the shot from range. Plucked out of the air by Dean Henderson. He will just lay it into the path of Daichi Kamada. We did get ourselves in trouble a couple of times with this particular system against Bournemouth. Trying to play out from the back, and we gifted possession to the opposition. And it did get us in bother on a handful of occasions. Didn't end up punishing us, Bournemouth. But a slightly better side certainly would have on at least one of those occasions, you would have thought. Konstantelius finds Kamada. Kolyosho on the far side. Nice little run from Andreas Pereira, but just keep possession with Wharton. Lacroix. Wolves being fairly conservative in their press. Just allowing us to play, really. And there's Konstantelius. He's not quite going to get there. It looked as though the Wolves player was holding him back, really. Because he was slow to react there, Konstantelius. It looked as though he just would have been able to roll the Wolves defender there and get on the end of that pass slipped in behind. But it wasn't the case. And it did look like he was encumbered by the Wolves man. Andreas Pereira, big switch of play is on. Wasn't really the best option. Kolyosho does surprisingly win the header. But that was always going nowhere. Well won by Chris Richards. Andreas Pereira combative in midfield. And the referee blows his whistle. We are looking for a combative midfielder to add to the ranks. Andreas Pereira, not exactly what he's known for. But it would be useful to have a pause for Konstantelius. Can't get his shot away. Good recovery challenge. But we've got the luck of the bounce there for a moment. So yeah, it would be really useful to have a combative, versatile defensive midfielder to play in the variety of roles that we currently have. Not vacant exactly, but we don't have anybody really ideally suited to that centre-half role, to any kind of true CDM role. We don't have anybody who can play in midfield alongside the likes of Wharton, Kamada, Pereira, who really is an imposing defensive presence. Czech Decore, I think, would have been an ideal fit for those kinds of roles. But of course, he did want to leave the club. Wasn't playing as much as he deems he deserved to. So we did have to allow him to join Mark Gahey at Newcastle in the summer. We've kind of run out of ideas in the last 10 minutes or so. Had a very good start to the game. But Wolves have kind of shut things down in the final 10 minutes here and are looking to get back level. And it's a great save from Dean Henderson that prevents them from doing so. Chris Richards and Maxence Lacroix are a little too tentative in the tackle. And Constantelius makes the run in behind, and Koleosho has hit it right into the feet of the Wolves defender. We had an opportunity there. Great run from Constantelius. He's linked up well with Koleosho in the first half, to be fair. Unfortunately not on that occasion, but we will go into the halftime break with a 1-goal lead, courtesy of course of Tammy Abraham, because who else would have scored? But we'll be looking to dominate possession in the same way in the second half. Certainly something we've done in the first, and hopefully we can make that pressure and possession count for a couple of additional goals. And I have no idea how, but apparently I just haven't been recording the second half. I'm absolutely furious because it's actually been a really good game, and we scored an unbelievable goal as well. Look at this from Leif Davis. Goal of the season contender for sure. 30 yards, 25 maybe, in off the post. Absolutely unleashes with his left foot. I just wasn't recording it. I absolutely lost my mind when this went in. Wolves, unfortunately, did grab one back through Matheus Cunha as well, though, on about the hour mark. So it does currently stand at 2-1. But I only noticed that I wasn't recording when I stopped to make these substitutions. So Francois, Bellingham and Raksaki all come on. I do apologise for the period of time that we've lost. We have lost about half an hour or so in game. But I swear I clicked the button. I swear I clicked record. I obviously didn't check that it was recording. And we lost the Leif Davis goal live at the very least. And like I say, I absolutely lost my mind. Unreal goal. Surely going to be a goal of the season contender. Daichi Kamada. Leif Davis can't win the header. And I have been clipping the goals of the season so far. I've not been the best at doing that in the past. I do like to have goal of the season as an award. Big save, Dean Henderson. But I'm not always the best at clipping the goals to show them to you guys towards the end of the season so you can vote for which goal should win. But I have been diligent with that this season, so we'll certainly add Leif Davis's to the list. And in my mind, right now, it has to be the front runner. Absolutely unreal goal. Wolves almost equalise. Mario Lemina coming close. And I think that Leif Davis goal might be the best goal I've scored in FC25. Definitely up there if it's not the absolute best. Lacroix finds Wharton. We just need to see this game out, really. Feels strange to say when we're 2-1 up. We've got a man advantage. We've pretty much dominated the game so far, but I can just accelerate. Why are you not accelerating there? I can just feel us throwing this game away. I can just feel Wolves coming away with something. We really need to prevent them from doing so. Daichi Kamada finds Wharton. A couple of players on the right-hand side, one of whom is Raksaki. He and Francois have both looked decent when they've come on this season. Francois certainly against Bournemouth looked excellent, playing in one of those attacking midfield roles alongside Daichi Kamada. Raksaki tucks in to try and win the ball back in midfield there. Fails to do so. Does leave one on the Wolves player. And that's a great challenge from Trevor Chalobah that I bet is going to be a free kick. Wolves play advantage. Narrowly wide. I think we're going to have to make our last two changes of the game just to try and solidify things a little for the final five. So Tammy Abraham will leave the field. Emmanuel Dennis to come on to replace him. William Davidson on too. He will replace Daichi Kamada. Play a bit more of a holding role in midfield for us. Joe Bellingham stepping up to attacking midfield. Leif Davis gives the ball away. We are asking Leif Davis and Raksaki to drop in to form a back five for these final moments of the game. Chris Richards, where are you going? Cunha equalises. Chris Richards goes one way, Matheus Cunha goes the other. And Wolves have an equaliser. Not deep into stoppage time, but into stoppage time here at Selhurst Park. And how have we allowed that to happen? Chris Richards just absolutely ghosted. Absolutely ghosted. Lamina finds Cunha. And Chris Richards just pirouettes around Cunha. He gets the shot away. Absolutely buries it in the bottom corner. And well, what did I say? I can see Wolves coming away with something. And it does look as though they're going to do exactly that. Rash challenge again from Christensen, who's had such a good game for Wolves. William Davidson not happy at all. And it is going to be a booking for Victor Christensen. If Davis, can he squeeze that in at the near post? Probably not. We will just put the ball in there. Can't quite find Adam Wharton. Joe Bellingham gets a shot away, blocked by Lamina and out for a corner. 5 minutes of added time is a lot, but we are 3 deep into those 5 already. Davies to deliver once more. There's Lacroix, squeezes it in for the winner. 2 minutes after Cunha's equaliser and Lacroix has won it. Wolves won't get anything after all. Frantic final 5 minutes here at Selhurst Park. Fans clambering over each other, clambering over the seats to get back up into the stands rather than down towards the pitch for some reason. A towering header from Lacroix somehow squeezes it in past Johnston and Cunha at the near post. Cunha almost the hero. But it's actually Maxence Lacroix who's the hero. And he puts the ball not only past Sam Johnston, but past Matheus Cunha as well, to give us the lead at the death and surely the victory here at Selhurst Park. Looks like Maxence Lacroix has absolutely bailed us out there. And he's certainly bailed Chris Richards out, because Chris Richards was certainly at fault for the goal. And Lacroix gets up to win that header as well. Davidson. Thankfully, the referee blows his whistle, because I was trying to hook that with Davidson's left foot out to Bellingham, and instead he tries to chest it. Thinks he's Ronaldinho. And it would have fallen to the Wolves man, but thankfully the referee blows his whistle just in time. And we do come away with the victory somehow. Clutching victory from the jaws of, not defeat, but it would have felt like a defeat, certainly, if we didn't come away with all 3 points in that game. So certainly an eventful featured game in today's episode, between me failing to hit the record button, apparently, Leif Davis's absolute wonder strike, and 2 goals in added time. That was a lot. That does bring us to our third and final game of the episode, as we take on Manchester City at the Etihad. Currently top of the Premier League, I believe, Man City. And unfortunately, they do come away with all 3 points. A late goal from Daichi Kamada, not enough to rescue anything from the game, unfortunately. So a slightly disappointing month in the end, all things considered. We came away with 4 points where really we were aiming for 6. But that is the nature of things when you're trying out new formations. And we are still in a more than solid position in the Premier League. 6th place, we've got 7 wins, 3 draws, 3 losses on the season so far. Scoring a lot of goals. Top goal scorers in the Premier League once more, actually. Putting 5 past Manchester United will help in that regard. Still conceding a few more goals than I would like, though. 16 at this point. However, the shortlist of defensive midfielders grows bigger and bigger every day, and we are starting to get some of those scouting reports back as well. So I'll draw up a final list of targets as we head into the month of December, where we have a number of very important Premier League games to get to, as well as the quarterfinal of the Carabao Cup against Chelsea. So we'll look forward to all of that in the next episode. I hope to see you there. Take it easy.